Hey there, this is Teacher Ola Podcast episode 138, Learn English with Gotye and Kimbra, somebody that I used to know. My name's Ola and I'm an English teacher. My goal is to help you start speaking English with confidence and get rid of speaking barriers. I believe it's achievable for you and it's time you started speaking English fearlessly. Go to my website for full transcripts and worksheets to each episode. Happy learning! Hello, I hope you're doing fine and you're ready to finally learn the lyrics and the meaning of the song by Gotye and Kimbra. I added my interpretation. Feel free to compare it with yours and share your opinion with all of us. Post a comment at teacherola.com/138. You're gonna learn so many phrases today, but first song facts, then lyrics line by line, and finally the most important part, the practical part. Stay with me, it's crucial for you to speak up. The title of the song I picked for today might suggest that we'll be dealing with be used to, but we won't. It's because we have a separate episode on that topic. It's episode 24, used to versus be or get used to. Find it at teacherola.com/24. Before we jump in, I have a request. Please spread the message. If you like my podcast and if you find it beneficial, tell someone about it. It's the energy, right? I give you this content and you can return the favor by telling someone about Top or sharing it, sharing a screenshot on your social media profiles. Tag me on Instagram. It's at teacherola.podcast. You can support my work by buying my product. I have prepared worksheet sets. They are clickable, editable, and they have an interactive list of content. And it has also answer keys, obviously. They have, because there are more than one worksheet set ready for you. Very convenient to work with this podcast. Okay, back to the episode. Somebody that I used to know. This is a song performed by Belgian-born Australian singer-songwriter Gotye. The song features singer Kimbra from New Zealand. The song topped the charts all over the world. To be precise, it peaked number one in approximately 27 countries, including the United States and the United Kingdom and Poland. The song's music video, which was directed by Natasha Pincus, and released in 2011, has so far garnered over 1 billion views on YouTube, thereby making it one of the most viewed YouTube videos of all time. Gotye told Rolling Stone Australia that this song is about an ex-girlfriend. He said, "It was a nasty breakup, but it was messy in the sense that we hurt each other more than we needed to because it wasn't a clean break. I guess it's closest to what the chorus is about. We both realized we had to move on and we haven't seen each other since." And in another interview, Gotye said, "I think it's kind of slow build and drama that it has, the two-part story and the multiple perspective aspect that has struck people. It's written openly enough that it expresses the confusion you can have after a broken relationship and the way you can feel emotionally quite up and down. You can feel nostalgic and rosily melancholy in a way, but sometimes we often feel quite bitter about things when you have nothing to do with that relationship or maybe with that person anymore, at least not actively. It can be quite a confusing feeling. So maybe the way the song expresses those feelings appears to strike people as quite true and quite relevant with their experiences." Now let's jump into the lyrics. Listen and repeat each line of the first verse. "Now and then I think of when we were together. Like when you said you felt so happy you could die. Told myself that you were right for me. But felt so lonely in your company. But that was love, and it's an ache I still remember. In your company. I felt so lonely in your company, near you, in the company of somebody. Adam's company. I enjoy Adam's company. They are a very good company. I came for company. I'm never nervous in your company. If you're a creative person, you're in good company. Be careful not to get into bad company. Two's company. Three's a crowd. And yes, company also means a business organization. I run my own company. It's an ache I still remember. An ache, a continuous feeling of pain in a part of the body. Stomachache, headache, heartache, toothache, backache, earache. You get more aches and pains as you get older. The same word is used as a verb, to ache. I'm aching all over. My legs ached from running all day. There's also an adjective, achy, and it's rather colloquial. My back is constantly achy. Next part of the verse, listen and repeat. You can get addicted to a certain kind of sadness. Like resignation to the end, always the end. So when we found that we could not make sense, well, you said that we would still be friends. But I'll admit that I was glad that it was over. Get addicted to. If you're addicted, you are unable to stop using or doing something as a habit, especially something harmful. We become addicted, we get addicted, and we are addicted. A lot of people nowadays have become addicted to the internet. You said that we would still be friends. This is a reported speech. It's not a quote. If I was to quote her words, I would say, we will still be friends, but it's not a quote. I'm reporting her words, hence will changes into would. She said that we would still be friends. She said she would plan it. He promised he would help us. And they told us they would investigate this case. I was glad. I was happy. Glad is a synonym of happy. I'm so glad you came. I'm glad about that. I was glad he had come. I'm glad to hear that. I'm so glad for him. I'm glad to meet you. Time for the chorus. Listen carefully and repeat each line. But you didn't have to cut me off. Make out like it never happened. And that we were nothing. And I don't even need your love. But you treat me like a stranger. And that feels so rough. Cut me off, but you didn't have to cut me off. To cut somebody off, to prevent somebody from leaving or reaching a place or communicating with people outside the place. He has been cut off. She cut him off so as to deprive him of any possibility of contacting her. He cut himself off from all family members. There are other meanings of cut off we should consider. To cut off means to interrupt somebody who is speaking on the phone by breaking the connection. I don't know what she wanted to say because we were cut off in the middle of our conversation. If you get cut off by your parents, that means that they don't want you to inherit their money or other assets after their death. Adam got cut off and was left penniless. I think I have to finally get down to episodes on phrasal verbs. There are other meanings of cut off, but I'd rather move on to another line of today's lyrics than fall into this sort of phrasal verb rabbit hole. You know what I mean? Let's see another phrasal verb. Make out. Make out like it never happened. He accuses her of making out with someone else, behaving sort of heartless, as if their relationship was meaningless. She swiftly moved on, and he blames her. Okay, but what does it mean to make out? Obviously, more than one thing, but let's just stick to the meaning employed in the song. To make out with somebody means to kiss and touch somebody in a sexual way, also to have sex with somebody. She's only interested in making out, nothing serious. That feels so rough. It's difficult for him, and it's unpleasant to cope with the fact that she has moved on so quickly. He can't make peace with it. It's rough, it's tough. He's had a really rough time recently. We're going through a rough patch right now. Our marriage is on the rocks. Let's see the lyrics of the second half of the chorus. Listen and repeat. You didn't have to stoop so low. Have your friends collect your records. And then change your number. I guess that I don't need that though. Now you're just somebody that I used to know. You didn't have to stoop so low. If somebody stoops so low, they drop their moral standards far enough to do something bad or unpleasant. To stoop so low as to do something. That's the structure. For example, I said I would never stoop so low as to have anything to do with him. It's possible to stoop to a new low. It's used when somebody behaves in a worse way than ever before. I reckon our government has stooped to a new low with those decisions. Have your friends collect your records. To have someone do something. He's angry because she asked her friends or their mutual friends to pop in and grab all her records. Her CDs, if you will. To have someone do something means to convince someone to do something or to arrange for somebody to do something. For instance, she had him clean the windows. And now let's move on to the last verse sung by Kimbra. Now and then I think of all the times you screwed me over. But had me believing it was always something that I'd done. And I don't want to live that way. Reading into every word you say. You said that you could let it go. And I wouldn't catch you hung up on somebody that you used to know. Now and then I think of all the times you screwed me over. Every now and again. From time to time, I think of all those times you screwed me over. To screw someone over has two meanings. To cheat and to scold someone. To give someone a very hard time. I guess it's the first meaning here. To cheat. To deceive. To trick someone. He cheated her. So he's not without guilt. Tom really screwed us over when he quit in the middle of the project. but had me believing it was always something that I'd done. So it looks like he put blame on her. Each time he screwed her over, he managed to convince her that it had been her own fault. What a bastard. Notice past perfect. It was always something that I'd done. I had done. Reading into every word you say. Reading into words is when you are trying to find extra meaning in the things someone said. It's to think that something means more than it really does. But she was so manipulated by him, she learned to be vigilant, and whatever he said got her suspicious. She was alert to seek the true meaning of his words. That's my interpretation, just for the record, so you might have your own. An example sentence. Don't read too much into what she says. And I wouldn't catch you hung up on somebody that you used to know. This is what he said. He said that she wouldn't catch him hung up on somebody that she used to know. If you are hung up on somebody, you are very worried about somebody. You are thinking about somebody too much. So I reckon he promised he would never do that. He would never care for anyone except for her, but I think it's implied he really did. Oh, he's not innocent, is he? Example sentences. You're not still hung up on that man. They're too hung up about sport. Time for your practice. Listen and repeat the sentences out loud. Here we go. Be careful not to get into bad company. Be careful not to get into bad company. Two's company, three's a crowd. Two's company, three's a crowd. I'm aching all over. I'm aching all over. A lot of people nowadays have become addicted to the internet. A lot of people nowadays have become addicted to the internet. He promised he would help us. He promised he would help us. I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad to hear that. He cut himself off from his family. He cut himself off from his family. We're going through a rough patch right now. Our marriage is on the rocks. We're going through a rough patch right now. Our marriage is on the rocks. I said I would never stoop so low as to have anything to do with him. I said I would never stoop so low as to have anything to do with him. Tom really screwed us over when he quit in the middle of the project. Tom really screwed us over when he quit in the middle of the project. Don't read too much into what she says. Don't read too much into what she says. You're not still hang up on that man. You're not still hang up on that man. I'm glad you've made it. Well done. But don't stop here. Go to your inbox, grab worksheet 138. In order to test yourself, complete the gapped text with missing words. If you're not a member of Top People, download the worksheet at teacherola.com/138 and then you will become a member of Top People. It's free. I also have the worksheet set. This way you won't have to download each worksheet separately. It's gonna be much more convenient to work with this podcast. All the links are in the description below. Worksheet sets are useful to all Polish listeners because they include translations from Polish. If you think this episode is valuable and worth sharing, please share. If possible, please rate this podcast or give thumbs up. In iTunes and in Spotify, you can rate the podcast up to 5 stars. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you next Wednesday. Till then, take care, happy learning, stay fearless, and say it out loud. Bye!